children from economical well families, it's easy for them. And for the children of the poor, for those who do not have even a voice, this damage is multiplied geometrically, because the drug dealer, what interests him is to have more consumers. If that children does not have the capacity, is not able to pay for that grappa is given to him for free in order to make an addict out of him. So they are hurting the children's mind. It's the same that was said a few minutes ago. They are full of fear to face the problem. They are feared in order to think and to develop a campaign to face the reality, and they prefer that their children become destroyed by drugs. If to any of us is offered with drug, but if you have a rehabilitation center, if you take the conferences, the alternatives of sports, 1,000 possibilities to rehabilitate the person to avoid an excessive consumption of drug. Is it going to end with all these drug consumers? The same happened after the Prohibition in the United States in the 20s, when alcohol was strictly forbidden. But first, let us stop the killings, because there will be no need to go to assault somebody and in order to be able to have money to buy the drugs, because the drug will be given freely and without paying in order to help them to solve their addiction. And I said, but even though there will be consumers, has alcoholism ended? No, of course not. They have also the anonymous neurotics. And in spite of having all these facilities, if you want to become an addict, let him be an addict. Please, can anybody say, Mr. Menéndez, to get the microphone closer to his mouth, please? We have to consider all the possibilities that are near the people that might become an addict. If he wants, it's freedom. That is the First Amendment in the United States. Let us talk clearly, honestly, authentically. Can you imagine if we remember the historical process of our dear neighbor, United States? Let us remember the Second World War. Not President Roosevelt invited Lucky Luciano to have a talk and ask respect for the movement of the drugs, their contacts in Europe, to permit the disembarking of the Allied forces in France. Otherwise, it could not be done. Remember that. President Roosevelt. Where are those Puritan principles? What about Mr. Oliver North, that all of you, my dear visitors, you know? Where did he take the money to finance the terrorist groups that fought in Nicaragua against the Sandinists from drugs? And he himself recognized that before the Congress of the United States. And he was a Republican candidate to the presidency. That is what Oliver North did. And how did they negotiate with the militaries in the 70s with the Turkish dictatorship? What did the government of the U.S. to the Turk militaries? They switched to renew the contract to keep the American bases in Turkey. They said ample space for the cultivation of heroin, the market at your disposition, but the bases will be given to us. Well, what principles, what moral principles are we talking about? Long time ago, we warned what was going to happen in Colombia with the so-called war against drugs. But I am going to ask you some questions. What do you think that a general can feel with 20, 30 years of servicing his country, that suddenly he is ordered that this colonel from some other country is going to take care to direct, to head all these troops, and all the soldiers will be under his command? What is he going to reply? The General Rosso, I think that he suffered a shock. What kind of shock he had when he became aware that the narco-trafficking, that the cocaine was passing under his nose, being himself the military chief, with all the people under his command involved. What punishment was given to the colonel? 4 years, 5 years, and it was paid with communitary work, service. But what sentence? What sentence was given to General Gutierrez Rebollo here in Mexico, besides the terrible, infamous campaign against his person?